The Florida Everglades sky burned blood orange, casting long, jagged shadows over the black, oil-slick water. Sky kept his hands steady on the airboat throttle, eyes locked on the horizon while the engine hummed a low, vibrating drone. Beside him, Rain gripped a thermal monocular, his knuckles white as he scanned the dark surface. The air felt heavy, stagnant with the scent of rot. They'd been tracking for 3 days. The bounty on the creature they called Goliath stood at $50,000. It was enough to cover the surgery, to enough to change everything. Rain lowered the scope, his breath hitching. He thought of the last crew that had come looking for the beast. They never made it back. Only their empty boat remained, drifting aimlessly in the reeds, along with half a severed leg left on the deck. Rain stared at the water, his voice tight. Sky did not look back. A grin stretched across his face as he pushed the throttle further. They had already claimed 12 smaller trophies this summer. He asked why one more monster would make a difference. The water rippled, cold and silent. Sky killed the engine. The sudden absence of sound was deafening, broken only by the distant, rhythmic croak of bullfrogs. They were here, and there was no turning back. The stillness shattered. A 14-foot crocodile erupted from the black water beside the boat, its mass slamming into the porthull. The vessel tilted violently, tipping toward the reeds. Rain lunged for the console, his finger slamming against the trigger of his rifle. A single shot rang out, muffled by the swamp. Blood sprayed across the surface, turning the dark water into a churning red froth. He jammed the steel point into the creature's side. The cable screamed, pulling taut as the croc dove, dragging the boat backward through the thick vegetation. Rain shouted to cut the line, using the wounded animal to draw out the larger prize. The boat spun in a tight, disorienting arc. Rain grabbed Sky's arm, anchoring him against the centrifugal force of the thrashing beast. Finally, the cable snapped under the strain of the engine. The wounded creature vanished into the depths, leaving a trail of crimson. They anchored the boat near a sunken cypress tree. Rain hung a goat carcass off the side, the blood dripping into the dark, still water. He checked his phone. No signal. The silence of the swamp became absolute. Too heavy, too still. Rain shifted his weight, sensing something wrong. Sky watched the water, his pulse visible in his neck. Then, the water exploded. The goat carcass was yanked downward with such violent force that the metal railing groaned and snapped like a dry twig. The boat lurched, tilting dangerously as the entire vessel was pulled toward the deep channel. A massive shape rose from the depths. It was not a gator. 20 feet of armored prehistoric scales broke the surface, shedding black water like a waterfall. The creature's head was larger than the boat's bow. It hovered there, motionless, a titan of muscle and bone. Yellow eyes, cold and ancient, locked onto them. The air in the swamp seemed to freeze. The brothers stood paralyzed, the distance between them and the beast shrinking to a few feet. The hunt was over. The survival horror had begun. Sky fired the harpoon. The steel hook sank into the monster's shoulder, but the creature did not flee. It lunged, ramming the hull again with enough force to throw the brothers to the deck. Rain hit the console, blood trickling down his forehead. He screamed for the flare gun, but the boat was already tilting. Goliath dove, dragging the vessel into the black, swirling vortex of the deep channel. Lined with serrated teeth snapped just inches from them, the sound echoing like a closing vault. Every movement became a struggle against the current as the beast toyed with them, pulling them deeper into the lightless swamp. The cable snapped taut. The boat flipped, casting both men into the freezing, lightless water. Sky grabbed Rain by the arm, kicking toward the faint glimmer of the moon above. They broke the surface, gasping, their hands clawing onto the overturned hull. The swamp churned. Rain wiped the water from his eyes, staring into the impenetrable blackness of the reeds, his heart hammering against his ribs. Dozens of glowing, reptilian eyes emerged from the shadows, encircling their position. They were not alone. Goliath surfaced 10 feet away, the harpoon cable trailing like a broken leash from its side. It did not strike immediately. The beast lunged. A roar shattered the silence of the swamp, and the screen smashed to black.